This is day 4 of making CaseOh Plushies to send to both CaseOh and Mama Case.
Hi, for those who don't know me, I'm Sunny. I'm a plush artist based in the South in the US. I handcraft and make all of my plushies, and I am a full-time artist at anime and comic conventions.
Take the beard pattern I had pinned on the plushie and redraw it out to make a brand new pattern because I was wanting the bottom shape more defined. Once I've got the shape that I want, I begin cutting it out so that I can use it for my orange Sherpa fabric. I place the new beard pattern pieces onto my orange Sherpa fabric and begin cutting out the pieces that I need with a 1/4 seam allowance. I cut 2 pieces at a time for one plushie because my goal is to sandwich the 2 pieces and flip them inside out before I add them to the plushie later. Doing this will give the beard and hair more dimension when I hand stitch them on later. I start pinning the 2 pieces together with the right sides facing each other before feeding them through my sewing machine. Also, don't mind my cat, he wanted to come help for a bit. His name is Toast. I have to be careful how I sew them into my machine because there are a lot of curvy shapes on the beard piece. I'm gonna be so real with you guys, but I had to lock in while sewing these pieces because I was so afraid that I wasn't going to get the curvy shapes that I wanted. But actually, it all worked out in the end. Once I finished sewing the pieces, I trimmed the excess off with my scissors so that when I flip the pieces inside out, it will be so much easier to do so and less bulky. Having bulky seams will distort the shape and honestly, it won't look good. Once I've got the shape that I want for the beard, I start pinning it onto CaseOh's face so that when I hand stitch it later, I know exactly where I'm sewing. I set that aside and repeat the same exact process for making the main hair pieces, which both include the back and the top front bangs. I take my patterns for the hair and transfer them to my orange Sherpa fabric, making sure I have a decent amount of seam allowance, because this piece will be a lot more curvier. I repeat a lot of the same processes as before, such as machine stitching, trimming the excess, and flipping the pieces inside out. Although the process got a little bit repetitive, I was getting really excited to see the CaseOh plush come more to life. I can finally start to see the hair pieces come to shape. For the back main hair piece, I locked in so hard to make sure the curvy shapes were going to be right. I was very determined to sew this and make sure the shapes were good to go. Now that I have all my hair pieces sewn, it's time for the really tedious part, which is hand stitching all these pieces onto CaseOh's head. I enjoy hand sewing because it can be relaxing, but there were a lot of hair pieces I had to sew on. I go over each stitch, doubling it up so the pieces can be extra secure. Doing this definitely took a long time to do, but honestly, it was totally worth it in the end. Here's the CaseOh plush with his hair and beard pieces. I love it so much. Looks less cursed and I'm so here for it. Now it's time to get ready for day 5 where I'll be making more progress on the CaseOh plushie.